what more could you look back, could you have done to maybe get things going besides not commit penalties?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I felt like we were able to move the ball when we didn't have the penalties. You know, we would move the ball, and then we put ourselves behind the sticks, and that's I mean, any defense is tough to overcome that, but that's a very tough defense to overcome. You know, you get yourself in 2nd and 22, you know, those situations. We had 7 penalties. Those took place on five drives, and, you know, all those drives 4 of them ended in punts, and one of them ended in a field goal where we were down inside the 20, you know, and backed up and had to kick a field goal. So, you know, when you play a defense of that caliber and you commit to running the ball, you cannot have the negative plays. I mean, you can't have negative plays anyways, but especially against a team like that, you know, when you're playing on the road. So, you know, that's something that we have to clean up. I mean, we talked about the negative plays the week before. They came in the form of sacks. All right, this week they were penalties. You know, so it's just, you know, those are things that we have to eliminate. Obviously, it's hard enough as it is. So when you make those mistakes and make it harder on yourself, it's not a good recipe.
And then when you look at like some of the formations under center and shotgun, I think under center it was like 18 of the 20 times you ran the ball. Shotgun was like, I think it was 80% of the time pass ball. Do you know that in there? Like, was that part, like, did you know it was going to kind of unfold that way, or do you look back and say it's got to be more balanced?
No, I mean, that's something that you look at, you know, yourself scout as the game goes. When it's inside the game, you know, you don't want to be that heavy, but we were having success with the under center run, you know, so actually our 2 passes were not very successful that we ran from under center. So, you know, that's something that, you know, we looked at during the week, and you never want to have, you know, tendencies like that, especially as the year unfolds. But, you know, we were aware of it, but, you know, we didn't really want to go away from it because, you know, we were, for the most part, blocking them well up front when we didn't, you know, get the holding calls.
Scott, obviously Brian Robinson looks like he's on the verge of being back for you guys. What is he ultimately, do you think, going to do for you in terms of play calling and just helping out the offense?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player, really good back. I mean, you guys were able to see what he can do in the preseason or over the summer during training camp. We're excited to get him back. You know, the trainers and the doctors will make the decision on, you know, when he is actually able to play. You know, that might be this Sunday. We're still kind of waiting and seeing him. He's looked great at practice. You know, he's not going to come in and just carry the ball 30 times. Like, obviously, you know, and I mean, it's his first time ever playing in the NFL, too. I mean, he's a rookie. So there's going to be, you know, a period of kind of, you know, getting him going. But I think we're all excited. I mean, we're really excited about the personal aspect of the story. Just such an amazing thing for him to come back after what he's been through. But as a player, you know, he's going to give us some juice and that physical presence and just a good all-around back.
The play action numbers haven't been where you guys want them so far. Does having a Robinson whenever he's able to go, his style, do you think that can help that since he's more of a traditional runner?
Yeah, I think that helps. I think he helps the overall offense. It's another quality player that the defense has to account for. We talked about it last week with the play action numbers. I mean, we've had some negative plays, and that just kills your efficiency, especially when you're this early into the season. I expect those to increase, you know, as the and do better as the season goes on. And we just have to, like I said, eliminate those negative plays. We've had, you know, some sacks on play actions, which has really hurt that.
What's Carson's level of autonomy in terms of being able to change things at the line of scrimmage? And were there, in your discussions, were there times last week you wish there had been more of that?
There's, you know, it's not a lot. I mean, you know, we do have some plays where he can adjust, not necessarily the play, but maybe he's adjusting protections. Most of the time, you know, we're getting the line. You know, we're trying to run plays, you know, get off fast. There wasn't a lot, you know. I mean, him changing the plays. We had some, you know, plays, you know, just like any game that I'd like to have back. We had some plays where we had some missed assignments that caused some negative issues, or maybe caused like an over-exaggeration, which was a hold, you know, or a penalty, stuff like that. But no, there wasn't anything where we thought we could have changed the play outright.
Acknowledging the offensive line is going to be what it is because of the injuries. Are there things you can do to help make life a little bit easier up there?
Yeah, and we did. You know, we tried to do some of those things. You know, with getting the ball quick, obviously running the ball, you know, take some pressure off of them. There's always things that we're going to look to, you know, helping certain guys, you know, understanding our matchups, you know, with what the defense is showing us, and then who do we want to help based on those matchups. Those are always things that you look at. But you know, this is part of the league. I mean, guys get hurt, and you know, other guys have to step up, and we got to make it work with the guys we have. No one feels sorry for you.
following up on Keim's question about kind of the tendencies on shotgun versus under center, do you worry about it becoming too predictable at a point, or do you think it's been?
I think at some point, yeah, you do. Within one game, I don't necessarily, especially when, we ran for, we had 5.3 yards a carry. That wasn't the issue, running the ball or them knowing that we were running the ball. We need to improve the play action pass like we just talked about. So some of that could be some of the, some under center play action pass. Like I said, the 2 passes that we ran, those weren't good. So, we got to make sure we're doing a better job in those instances anyways. But yeah, over the course of the season, like those are things that you absolutely look at, and we look at those, week by week. That one single game, I don't take as much account to it because of the way it was going. And then, yeah, in gun, we threw the ball more. A lot of times those are, I don't know if you guys are looking at first and second down or just overall, or, as the game goes on, we were down. So you're going to be in gun, you're going to throw, so that one's not as worrisome to me.
And we haven't seen Curtis or Jahan out there. What have you kind of made of Cam Sims and Diami Brown if they need to step up and?
I think that Cam and Diami. Cam's been here, obviously before me, but as long as I've been here, got a lot of faith in Cam. Diami, I thought Diami had a good camp, and he'll be ready to go if we need him. We'll see on those guys. I'm not sure if we'll get. I think we'll get one of them back. I don't know if we'll get them both back for the game. Curtis is dealing with a little bit of an illness, and Jahan, but that's still a touch and go. We're not sure on those guys, but they're going to be close for the game.
What does Sadiq bring at right guard?
Sadiq brings some athleticism. I don't know if you noticed him on some of those screens. Getting out, doing some nice job on those. He's a guy that he's played for us last year. He started 3 different spots, both guards and right tackle, and then he played some snaps at left tackle. So he's a versatile player. He can play guard and tackle. His deal is, he's played and kind of played well for some spots, and then he's had an injury or something where he gets dinged up. So I anticipate, he'll be able to stay healthy and he'll play well. I thought he did a nice job when he got in there for the most part against Dallas.
And on Carson's first intentional grounding, is that just kind of the player trying to enforce him, like, we don't need to be a superhero here, or what did you see on that, and what's the takeaway?
Yeah,
from
I think we've talked about that. The first one, you break the pocket and you're out there, and you get a chance to throw the ball away. Just get it thrown away, and we can get to 2nd and 10, or even if it's not, whatever, get to the next down, and don't take a negative. Those are all just kind of moments, teachable moments that we work through there.
How would you say you guys are doing in marrying the run and the pass game and make everything look similar?
I think that's a week-by-week thing. Sometimes it won't necessarily look the same within a game, but maybe we'll run a play action that looks like a run we ran the week before, or vice versa. That's something you're always trying to work towards. Situationally, sometimes it's a passing situation. It's not as important. But, in those true, 1st and 10, 2nd and short, we try to do a good job of marrying those things. And that's something we always are working towards.
And even without those 5 big plays, the play action efficiency numbers are still lower. Is that something that is maybe the quarterback or the rest of the offense? I guess what else can you do to try to get that where it needs to be, and would you consider changing that approach?
Yeah, you just look at kind of what are the different run actions that you're using. That's something that you can look at. We've looked at that, whether depending on what run you're faking, what style of run, and that's what you're talking about, marrying it with the runs that we have run. And that's something that we have to do and make sure that we're matching the things up with what we do well in the run game. Like you said, making it look the same, and then making sure we got the right guys doing the right things.
When you have a string of penalties like you guys did up front last game, do you say anything? Is there anything you can do about that in game, or you just the players are?
No, yeah, you talk about that. You talk about being smart, when it's holding, keeping your hands inside. We had some issues where, we had a double team and maybe one guy left too early. Now someone's left out to dry and they get a penalty called on them. So making sure that we're playing assignment football, because a lot of that is what led to, the penalties. It's really just about knowing the details of your job and then making sure you're doing that play in and play out. And when you do that, you eliminate negative plays, you eliminate the penalties. Sometimes the defense is going to make a play, and we can live with that, but, it's hard when you're doing it to yourself.
Just a general football question.
Yeah.
I think you see more teams nowadays running the too high safety look pre-snap, like the Fangio, Staley type defense. Why do you think that's become more popular among defenses this year?
I think teams are playing pass first defense, and they're willing to give up some plays in the run game, and they're trying to limit explosives. I think that's really what it is, and they want to limit explosives. If they're going to play pass first, and then you're going to dare teams to pass, and they continue to pass, then they're going to try to create negative plays because they're playing, pass first defense. I think that's just a general answer, a philosophy answer. That's one of the ways I see it.
Thanks, Coach.
Do you think that, along those lines, do you think that defenses look at coordinators or quarterbacks as not being patient enough to not, play that patient game that you need to against them?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that they're just like, hey, maybe we'll give up some runs, and then eventually, we'll hit it, we'll hit it right, So I think it's kind of that game of, chicken or whatever that, we play back and forth with the coordinators. So.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Tom, that was a delayed game. That was after.
Got it in, man.
Self-inflicted, Tom.
I was doing that one. I forgot.